Everywhere you look, there are condos going up. Yonge Street, a place prized historically for its cheap eats and local unique stores, is starting to look more residential. Take a look around me. There are even more condo developments going up here on Yonge Street. With the election a few days away, I find out, what does the future of Yonge Street look like? What was Yonge Street like before?
Oh, it was more, for hanging out, I guess. People go up and down, events, but it's now changing to just places to live and business, I guess.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like it, personally. I liked it the way it was.
The way it was?
All day. With Sam, the record man, on top.
It's been, from what I've seen, it helps the students because I know there is a shortage of residents around the university. But at the same time, I can see why the businesses would be frustrated with all the, not just people walking away, but all the traffic and everything that's been causing, in terms of accessibility to the restaurants and the businesses.
Businesses are closing while condos are opening. It's the stressful reality for small businesses on this street, like warriors fighting in fitness, that didn't think it would have to fight to stay open 35 years later.
At the very least, most of the businesses along here will have to move at some point. That's just the way it is. Everything's getting bought up and developed. But if we keep putting the money back into the local businesses rather than the big boxes, these businesses can just pick up and move somewhere else, and continue to contribute to Toronto.
Starting to see that big box evolution on streets. So you're seeing these large franchise show up on Yonge Street and open their flagship stores. So that has increased some of the small independent decrease in the area, but it's not just because they can't be competitive, but there's taxation issues, there's development issues, there's a bunch of things that are feeding the change of Yonge Street today.
University Rosedale's current councillor, Kristen Wong Tam, says she wants to save small businesses.
For small businesses, oftentimes they are being assessed for taxes as if they were a condominium site. So if they were a small business sitting on a small plot of land, they will get assessed as if they were a 60-story, 70-story condominium, which of course is entirely unrealistic. They cannot pay those bills and it forces them to close. So we've been advocating for changes to the Assessment Act, appealing to the Minister of Finance to actually use the tax reforms in a more intelligent way.
Toronto Centre candidate George Smitherman thinks it's a matter of being creative.
So I really favor small spaces that recognize the reality for entrepreneurs to break through, for ma and pa operations to survive, and especially in an environment where people are doing more online purchasing. The scale of retail doesn't need to be as large as it did, but we're moving in the opposite direction. I think that's the wrong trend.
While Toronto Centre candidate Lucy Troisi acknowledges small businesses need help, she sees safety on Yonge Street as a top priority.
But my whole platform is about neighborhood safety. There's an injection site that's close to Dundas and Yonge, right beside a university, right beside where our tourists and the community is coming and going on Yonge Street. We need wraparound supports and we need more resources for those injection sites so that everyone in the neighborhood feels safe.
As far as the candidates are concerned, they all agree that the face of Yonge Street is changing, but as for what those changes should be is where the candidates differ. Maliha Sheikh, City News, Yonge Street.